All right. How do we get this? $300 people? Yeah, I'm sure. I get the book notes up. What's up, sir? I got your resume, and I was gonna print them all out. I was gonna print all the resumes out, and then I was gonna like I don't know what I was gonna do. I didn't get that far. I didn't think that third order. What am I gonna like hold them up to the camera? Anyway, so I had to redo it. I messed up. Yo, what's up? What's up, Randolph? Talking books. What? Okay. What kind of books you guys reading? Does this work? Yeah, it works. Oh, I know what book we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Deep Work. It's by Cal Newport. He's a computer science professor at one of those prestigious universities. And like I wrote down like some notes. I have this like drive file where I take down notes, stuff that like sticks with me. So like the main thing I got from that book was like attention residue. And so like attention residue, I've talked about this before, but it's like if you work on multiple tasks, you have like a finite pool of attention every day when you wake up. And when you work on multiple tasks, it like it subtracts from that. And well, that's basically the more tasks you have, the harder it is to take your full attention over to the next task. That was like a big thing for me. And so I stopped having like those little distractions. So like every time you pick up your phone, this iPad in this case, but like every time you pick up a phone or anything like that and look at it for long enough, like, and then you go back to doing what you're doing, you just lost like 10% of your attention. I mean, I made that number up, right? But like, that's a real thing. I've noticed that when I flip my phone over and I just ignore it, put it on silent, so I can't see any notification light or anything like that, I get a lot more done. And then you'll have moments where you'll be like, oh, wonder what's going on my phone. And then you have to like stop yourself. But so that was a good point from that book. Oh, if you want to get good at something, there's this thing called deliberate practice. So to obviously to be a master, like they quote like 10,000 hours. Tiny habits. What are some other good points? tinyhabits.com. So it takes 21 days to build a habit generally. Join me. How to join. It looks pretty neat. Nobody wants to show up to a book review video, and I know if I make a video about it, no one's going to watch it. So, but this is the stuff that I read like on a day-to-day basis, and then I write it all down, and it helps me give the advice that I do. So like I feel like I should, instead of interpret that, I should give you guys the notes that I have on them. Humans tend to be happier when they're immersed in challenging problems. There's like 3 different types of deep work that you can do on a day-to-day basis. The most common is like rhythmic. which is where you plan out your day ahead of time on paper, schedule it out like with some blocks, and then work through that. And you have this bimodal thing where you can, where that's like you just sit in a room all day by yourself pretty much, and for a long period of time, and then you take a break. So that can't work for most people. That works. That works for me. So great creative minds work like accountants, or I mean, oh my God, great creative minds work like artists, but think like accountants. So that was a good quote that I got from there. The whole book is just like an overview of like how bad it is to be interrupted like frequently with emails, people coming over and talking to you. And it also talks about like knowledge work, and like in today's age, when you're at work, if you're doing a job like this, where does the work-life balance stop? So it's like if you leave work but you're still thinking about how to solve the problem you couldn't figure out, like technically I'd say that you're still working. You don't have something tangible to show for it. In knowledge work, like a machinist does at the end of the day, figuring out how to solve a problem is hard to prove. And that was something I've kind of argued when I was doing remote, like just because I'm not at the office and just because I'm not at my computer doesn't mean I'm not working. And they're like, well, yeah, it does. Clearly you're doing something else. And it's like, no, knowledge work has nothing to do with where you're at or what you're doing. Like figuring out problems happens up here and then gets attempted, out here. Yeah. So yeah, let me define what deliberate practice is. If you want to get good at something, you want to be a master, it's 10,000 hours. They have this thing called deliberate practice, which can just be interpreted to sitting down and taking an hour to do something and get really good at it. That's known as deliberate practice, like just like anything else, practicing a skill. I don't know why it's called deliberate practice, but just making a habit of doing something every day for X amount of time, no matter what, just to get better at it. Like a work skill, for example, when you're not at work, deliberate practice. To be the best, to be seen as the best at something, you don't actually have to be 50% better than everybody else. You only need to be like 3% better than the majority of people to be seen as like some guy who's like, oh, he knows everything. So that's what deliberate practice can give you. So basically what defines a skill as good is the myelin tissue in your brain. And that helps make the connections when you're building a skill. And the better you get at a skill, the more myelin tissue in your brain you have around those topics. And so the more connections and stuff. Okay, all right, that's it. I'm done with the book review. That's it. That's all I got so far. Now you guys can ask me questions now. Actually, wait. I got like 4 pages. I thought I only had 1. Oh yeah, have work deadlines. That's a pretty hard one to do in web development. Oh yeah, embracing the boredom. That's a tough one. When you're in the middle of something and you really don't want to do something, the ability to like step outside of yourself and embrace that boredom, that's like a game changer. When everyone else is like, what's the point of this? Why do I have to be here? And you're the guy that's like, how can I make this into an opportunity? Then you're getting ahead. That's a good quote. I like that quote. He talks about productive meditation when you go on like a walk and you think about you try not to think and you just enjoy the scenery, which is why people go on walks, because it calms you down or whatever. It's actually good. He talks a lot about like shutdown and startup rituals for your day. So like when you come into the office, you want to have everything set up where you need, get your coffee, all that ahead of time. I don't drink coffee, but you get your coffee and all that ahead of time. And then you pull out your notepad and you go just task by task until you can get what you need to done for that day. And you don't let people bother you, and you make people aware of this schedule ahead of time so they leave you alone. But you do have to plan for some distractions, but you just try to minimize them or ignore them. Depending on the task, if it's something that I don't know how, or that I'm like struggling or not struggling, but learning how to do, figuring out, like troubleshooting, then it's music with no words. If it's something that I know how to do and I'm just it's just like, mindless work that I have to just do and complete it, then I'll listen to a book. Hello. Welcome to the most boring live stream there is. Book reviews. But that's okay. Some of these are like really tangible stuff, like the deliberate practice thing. So we're talking about Deep Work by Cal Newport. He's a computer science professor. And he just talks about having his day scheduled out in blocks, and he goes block by block, no matter what, no distractions throughout the day, no emails. He doesn't. So I don't know if you've heard of the guy like called Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss is notorious for only checking his email twice a day, once at lunch and once at the end of the day. He doesn't check it any other time. And like, obviously it's annoying for people, but you have to make them aware of that ahead of time. But it's you'd be surprised how much that adds up, like Slack and all that, where work gets done. It's more like where distraction happens. So they should rename that. Say yes to hard and terrifying tasks. That's a good one. Obviously, you should be uncomfortable or you're not growing. You're going to get bored. The Deep Work. Deep Work by Cal Newport. It's a long book. It was like 22 hours. I listened to it on Audible at like 1.75x. Human. Yeah, I already said that. So he talks about like the finite willpower every person has it at the beginning of the day. Everyone has like, I don't know, let's just say 10,000 units of willpower and some 10,000 units of like attention, and those little tasks throughout the day, like your phone beeping and you checking it, or your email and then you check it, or Slack and then you check it. They subtract from that pool. And that's why at the end of the day, it's really easy to make shitty decisions. Like it's really easy to be like, I'll just go to McDonald's. I'll just skip the gym, because like you don't have any willpower left over. It's just been reduced throughout the day by all these like tiny little things. And I'm not claiming to be like professional at this, but I'm aware of it throughout the day. And so if I hear my phone like beep sometimes, I'll just flip it over and just ignore it. And it's hard to do, especially because if it's flipped up and I can see the screen and it's like someone I know and they're asking me a question, for me to ignore them is like, I'm working though. Oh yeah, he talks about like how there's been some studies done that basically say if you're not secluded, as secluded as you can get, then if a Skype call goes off in the background or someone's phone goes like bling, Facebook Messenger, your brain's gonna react to that regardless, because you're so conditioned to hearing it and then checking it immediately. So you have to break that habit. That was that's probably true. It's really hard. It's really hard to do, to not check your email, not check your phone, ignore messages. I mean, don't be a douche about it. You have to let people know that you're like, look, I'm going to be in seclusion mode between these hours. Don't bother me. What was the most challenging part? I don't think it has parts. I think the ability to come back to it after you've given up on a problem, and then come back the next day or a couple hours later and still keep trying to do that problem. That's the hardest part. When you're like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. and I'm still stuck. And the ability for you to make that decision, that leap, and like be larger than yourself and not give up, and then come back and try to do it anyways, that's the hardest part, I think. Does that help? Learning syntax, learning how it works it's not that hard. It just takes time. It's more of a mindset deal to be able to just like keep moving when you don't know what you're doing. But you all right, so there's this quote. We've got the quotes. There's this quote that's like, what's up, Irene? It's like, don't mistake movement for forward progress. So just because you're doing and trying a bunch of stuff doesn't mean you're actually making progress. So be kind of like conscientious of that. Like if you're trying a bunch of stuff, will the bug in WooCommerce plugin fix itself if you drop your computer off of a bridge? So here's the pro tip. You tell her that you don't want WooCommerce and that WordPress is Garbo and she should get a Shopify. Problem solved. Also, we're at like 8 subscribers away from 2,800. So call your wife, call your girlfriend, and then call your, call your side chick. Let them know. We almost hit that 2,800 mark tonight. Oh, that'd be sweet. Also, I had a live stream scheduled with Chris Sean. Well, not live stream, but like a video. But he ghosted me. And I messaged him on Discord, and he ghosted me there. How many side girls do I have? I think right now, maybe like 4. I'm just kidding. I have a girlfriend. She's not here. Now there's fireworks happening outside. Why don't I start as a Udemy instructor? So right now I have a outline for a curriculum made for how to make a portfolio, a good portfolio for yourself as a developer. Talks about, like, obviously it gets you up to speed with the basics. I'm not going to do like, here's React 101, because like, I don't know, in 3 days, new React version comes out. Like, do I have to cover that? Like, yeah, so Thomas, that's super bannable. Not worth. Yeah, so I haven't filmed it or anything yet. I'm still ironing out like what I want to talk about to give people like how to build a portfolio and how to apply to jobs, like some job hacks, I guess. Some stuff that I've done that I've talked about, but kind of like condense it down into just a course with like, here are the XYZ resources. Like obviously you could find all that here, but this is going to be like a really just step 1, 2, 3, 4. How do you feel about being given homework? Depends on how long the homework is. I should probably ask to be reimbursed. If they're going to make me spend more than 2 hours of my time, I'm probably going to ask to be reimbursed at this point. And I've seen that as part of the job descriptions, or actually it was part. What happened? What happened to my chat? I made it to like part 2 or part 3 of the interview stage, and they were going to give me like a test, and they were going to pay me like $100 to do it. And then I got to like the second question, and I realized like this test was not worth, and the job was bad, so I didn't do it. And they pay you even if you fail, so I probably should have gone through it, but it was timed, and that's the worst. I have no experience, but I want to start as a freelancer. How should you do it? WordPress is a pretty easy route to do it. Building static websites for local businesses is a pretty good way to do it. What else? Obviously, you could start with the family and friends and see if they have an occupation that needs a website. Freelance is hard. You're competing a bunch of other freelancers, and you're competing against freelancers that live in other countries with a cost. I don't know where you live specifically, but there are people with a very high-end knowledge that can charge $15 an hour, whereas someone where I live would charge 70. Yeah, so you can probably charge pretty cheap to American clients and still make a very good living. So you'll be competing against people in like Ukraine. Is there any money? No, because I made an iPhone game and I didn't make any money. I think Katie was there. She helped make it. We made 7 cents, not even enough to cash out. I think you need like $100. If you make an iPhone app, it should be for a product that they're using somewhere else to support, not a solo app. And if you do a solo app, what's the future scope of web development? It's a pretty loaded question. And I'm not a complete wizard. I'm like Hermione, right? I'm like half wizard, half human. So I can't give you like the total future, but I would guess that it'll probably be React for a while. Single page application, state management, however that evolves. Maybe React will be back-end stuff at some point. Everybody will be coding in Node or Python here at some point, be my guess. How long did it take? Let me answer that real quick. I still don't fully grasp it. I mean, I understand like the core fundamental concepts, but there's a lot of concepts out there, and it's easy to forget the gotchas. There's some weird gotchas. You can look up Anthony Alicia's, yeah. It's called The Weird Parts of JavaScript, and he just talks about all these gotchas that people coded in. Where'd my chat go? Why did my chat disappear? Chat, please. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, Anthony Alicia's. Coding a Twitch stream while learning how to code a website. Coding a website that sells stuff. It's not a small project because you have to integrate like payment processors and databases. That's quite a big thing there. The problem, like, people hop in and out in the middle of a code stream, and it's hard for them to gain perspective of where you're at. And so they hop in, you're like in the middle of debugging something that they don't know what happened, but the people are there know how you ran into it, and then that person just leaves. So it's attractive to like 3 people. Do I make a good living? I do okay. At least it's not WordPress. I'd rather just make a Shopify and sell stuff. I don't need to make something from scratch that would take me like that. It's like an entire team to build an e-commerce website. Is learning React Native useful? Of course it is. I mean, you're making mobile apps by coding in JavaScript, so it's pretty worth it, I think. You can make a web application and you can make a mobile application, and you don't have to stretch too far. Fortnite stream? Oh my god. I'd rather play Overwatch. Fortnite, I just can't. I can't do it. I tried. No. I made a game so close to Fortnite that I think is better, and then they made that, which just makes me feel like I've missed out on billions of dollars. I have a good idea. Favorite Overwatch character? Hanzo, for sure. Tekkit? What is that? Solid database. Probably Postgres. I don't know. I don't really mess with non-relational like MongoDB stuff. I only do SQL stuff. Mongo's pretty startup-y. I mean, maybe there's some big ones that use it, like big companies, but I don't know. I'm not too familiar with it. I've read about it. I tried to start it up, mess with it, but I don't really use it. I'd go with PostgreSQL. It's not too far from regular stuff. Late to the stream, quick flash recap of my top books. I wasn't giving like a recap of the top books. I was talking about one book that was Deep Work by Cal Newport. Basically talks about attention residue, how distractions like phone messages and emails that take some of your attention away, and you're never going to get that fully back when you refocus on something, and then deliberate practice. And so that's what I talked about. Deep Work by Cal Newport. Pretty good book. Getting work done. Ignore the distractions of the day. Hard to do, but worth it. Plan your day type stuff. This is all recorded, so you can just go back to the beginning, I guess. I keep little notes. I don't know if I should share these notes, but I have I take notes that like resonate with me, but maybe they would help other people. Recently, I've read. Oh, just today. Today I finished. It's called Principles by Ray Dalio. That book was. I don't know. It was okay. Like, it's about this guy that has this company called Bridgewater, which is a real company. Some guy that made a lot of money in the stock market, and like, he treats his employees like robots, and he's like, always use leverage. For every 1 hour I work, I make my employees investigate that project about 50 hours. I'm like, oh, dude, people are not robots. I couldn't treat employees that way, and therefore I wouldn't want to have a company that big to have managers managing managers, and then have like an oversight committee on them. Like, no, thank you. But the life principles of itself was like, be able to handle honest feedback and be honest with what you do and be transparent. Don't try to pull stuff over. It's a pretty good book. Yes, I do. JavaScript, all the basic front end stuff, and C#, SQL. Yeah. A lot of C# stuff. A lot of just like vanilla JavaScript files that are just a load of JavaScript and jQuery type stuff. It's an old application. So they created the application that I work on now when like a single page wasn't even a thing yet. In a large tech hub, I live in Salt Lake City right now. So it's they call it the Silicon Slopes, is what they say. So it's pretty. Actually, most of the startups are in Lehigh, around there, or American Fork, but that's like an hour away from me. So I don't want to commute that far. Now, that's where the startups are, but there's a lot of business here in Salt Lake City too. Well, always software stuff going down. A lot of people are moving here because it's cheaper to live. Salary is obviously around the same as like San Francisco. I mean, not that high, but like salaries are pretty close, and the cost of living is like 70% cheaper. So people are moving here. Would I suggest self-study? You're going to have to do self-study anyways. So, to be honest, you should be studying something every day. Don't just depend on people to give you what you need. You got to, you're going to have to do both anyways. If you're depending on people to give you what you need, when you finish the boot camp, that's not enough to get a job. What am I passionate about? Build my own project, like just code my own project. I had a couple ideas. I've had lots of ideas about stuff that I could code, but that would take me forever and would probably bring me no income, so I don't do it. I would build probably a website that would allow me to storyboard the videos that I make, but in a fun way. Because there's only one right now that exists, and it costs. So I would make one that's free, and I don't know how I would monetize it, but I got to keep evolving. So actually, I got contacted by a place that did it for a university boot camp, and they called me and they wanted me to be a TA a few times a week, and they told me I couldn't be a teacher, and they told me I could only be a teacher's assistant because I didn't have flat over 3 years experience or something. I don't know. I don't remember. Was it 5 years? I didn't have enough experience, so by that cutoff, I wasn't allowed to teach. I was like, all right, well, that's bullshit. So no. Also, the pay was only $20 an hour. So that's bullshit too. Also, there was no job guarantee, and it looked like to me that they were just cashing in on the boot camp scene, to be honest. Why would you go to one without any kind of guarantee or something? I don't want to name names, but you know where I live. Right? So, I don't know. The fact that no matter how hard I tried to, no, it was for a university, this educational for-profit group partnered up with a university to host a code boot camp under the university's name, but it was taught by the for-profit kind of partner that they brought in. So everyone goes because they see the university name on it, but then you get there and then it's something totally different, taught by people that don't even work for the university. It's a sham. Yes, I do. That is the company that contacted me. And they told me, they were like, please describe your experience with students and helping other people. And I was like, all right, well, let me start. And I'm pretty comfortable talking about the things that you need to do to be a good student, or things I think that people should do to be a decent student. And I gave what I think would be exceptional answers compared to most developers that can't even communicate. And she just didn't care. Sorry, you can't teach. You don't have flat experience. The university won't let us because that's their standards. All right, well, this is why people don't go to college, because you set ridiculous standards that don't make any sense. It's not, you got to base people on their merit, not on some arbitrary standard. And I was pretty salty about that, just like I am in general about people that do that to me or you guys. I think you should base people on their merit and give them a chance. And so when that doesn't happen for me, obviously we're not going to see eye to eye, or they're not going to take anything I say, any advice to heart, because they just don't respect it. So next. I mean, this is the whole reason why people are moving away from college, because you do this dumb shit. And the skills that people, I don't know. I'm not going to make this a negative stream, but it was not Dev Mountain. I guess I already answered that, but yeah. there's just some bad camps kind of poisoning the overall look and feel. So it needs to be like the top schools, or have some sort of guarantee, or cost you nothing until you get a job. Otherwise, don't go. At that point, even if it's local, just do an online one. Most of the online ones have a guarantee. Yep. It's my 2 cents. How are you guys doing tonight? It's Monday, 10 o'clock for me. I got to get up, 4:45. Code snippets. Oh, Joe. How you know? I look at code snippets pretty regularly, but right now I don't really have a lot of documentation because everything we use is... Oh, that's not true. We're using a calendar with an open source calendar called Calendar.js. I've been actually looking at that a lot because I've been kind of redoing that entire library, or trying to. I'm just one guy, and that thing's maintained by like hundreds of open source. Come on. Where'd my chat go? Oh, come on. Okay. I'm sure they don't. Okay, let me back up. Solid Bootcamps in Salt Lake City. I think there's one called Helio Training. I don't know much about them. There's one that's called V School. I actually applied to work there, and they're like, let me check with the team, and then they never contacted me again, so that was neat. And then there's Dev Mountain, which is pretty popular, but it's totally different than when I went there. It just has the same name. I don't know. I can't give you... I would assume they're solid. They're pretty popular, but don't take my word for it. What else? I actually can't tell you if it's solid or not. It's been a while. Got a little headache. Windows app. No, that field database problems. Been there. Actually, I was doing that today. University BC life. So I'm sure like the students that go there don't like... They probably don't have anything bad about it, but the people that did the hiring for me kind of soured me about the whole experience. But hopefully the people that work there are good and they're excited about it. But the fact that they weren't a little bit flexible with traditional ways of doing things is just kind of like, not for me. I lived my whole life in a non-traditional way, but maybe the content is good, right? That's what matters. Mick Coder interview with old Ben. Yeah, Ben's a good dude. He's the one who taught me how to code. He's tough. He's tough, but he's smart. I remember seriously questioned my life a lot when I knew he was teaching that night. Like, oh, I can't be a coder just because I couldn't solve his one problem. I was like, I can't do this. A lot of back and forth internal dialogue going on. Come on, internet. I don't know why my internet's doing this. Closing everything. Yeah, so they probably... So pretty much, they probably in order to use the university name, which brings in more students, they probably have to follow the university's rules. So I don't know. I mean, do it up, try it out. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and it was just my perception of things. You know, I'm open to being wrong. So please tell me if I'm totally wrong. How knowledgeable should a junior dev be with accessibility? It's a very niche skill, but at the same time, when you find that job that wants accessibility, you're like, hey, guy over here, that's me. Pick me. Then everyone's like, whoa, okay. So if you want to do front end, accessibility is a way to like level up. You should be familiar with like common testing practices though. When I say testing, it's not like unit test. It's like just manual Q&A. You get your screen readers, and there are a lot of React jobs. There's a lot of React jobs everywhere. But yeah, here, I don't know. Let me look. Let me look at my phone at how many cyber coders recruiters I've gotten in like the last. Yeah, Bootcamps still do the GI Bill. Yeah, you're good to go. It's the question is if you can get the GI Bill to go to Bootcamp. Disney Pixar trailers. Hello, sir, ma'am. Let me sort by cyber coders. You guys can see how much. You can see how recruiters work. They just throw stuff at a wall and see what sticks. And usually none of it does. They're like, senior level C++. What? I've done that like once in Unreal Engine 4, and I don't know what I'm doing. All right. This is today. Crash a plane. I mean, all right. So we got... I got one for Laravel this morning. Angular 2 days ago. This one doesn't give it. Oh yeah, React here. Look, I can just scroll forever. Can you see? Cyber coders, recruiters, just people all day long. And actually, I've responded to them before. One reached out like a while ago. They were like, remote, 95,000 a year. I was like, sure, let's try. And so I applied and I gave my resume, and it's like, sorry, it looks like you're not a good fit. I'm like, but you emailed me saying that I was a perfect fit. Miss me with that copy paste shit. You know? It's not like that. They don't actually care. It's not a customized personal message. They literally just take anyone's email. They do a keyword search. If it's in your resume, they hit you with that. Or even if something kind of like they probably type in C and for a C++ job and they see C# and they're like, oh, well, you know, 2 steps. We'll just call it email. So it's actually never worked out ever when I've replied to these. They always have like copy paste titles though. Oh, this is going to be a good one. Hold. Ready for a new gig? Looking for opportunities? Let me pitch you this role. Is this role up your alley? Going out on a limb. Consider this. Great role. Seeking a software developer. We've got 2 jobs. Let me do the work for you. Exploring opportunities. How's my timing? A job you might like. Put your skills to work. Have I got a job for you? We need your Jedi skills. The ball's in your court. Ready for a new gig? Awesome blockchain developer role. Career options you should consider. We could use your Jedi skills. Consider this. Reaching out. Is this the opportunity you've been waiting for? Great role. Like anything that says Jedi or ninja, hard pass. Can I get your resume in the right hands? Can I get an introduction? Exciting opportunity. Is this right for you? Checking in. 2 jobs. Where's your career headed next? Opportunity is knocking. Considering different career options. Ready to grow your career. Ready for a new challenge. Looking to connect. Now's a great time for a career change. Doesn't hurt to look for a new role. Regarding your full stack developer career. An opportunity you should seriously consider. Ready to make an impact. Can I do you one better? It just keeps going. I can just keep scrolling. I don't understand. I don't understand, Disney. We're talking about the code, man. All right. Goodbye. Problem solved. Here, Joe. Mod it up. There you go, fam. With great responsibility comes with great power. Yeah, the Spider-Man quote. You know. I just don't. Is work too much? Tired of working late? How you know? Get out of my life. How's my timing? I swear, they just have a drop-down that they pick from. Quick question. No, it's not. Take a peek. I don't know. What's up? What's up, fam? I'm looking for that one where I applied and then they told me no. Oh, one person emails me and says, sorry, not sorry. The only time I bother with a recruiter is if I didn't have a job. And I did that. And let me tell you about my recruiter experience. Are you ready for this? Let me tell you. So I had an interview with 3 different companies. First, I had to do a technical screening for just to be able to for them to tell the clients that, yeah, I can, I know how to code. And then I have to actually go to that client and do other technical interviews for whatever they are. And so I did that. And the recruiters only make money when you get hired because you're working for that recruiter for 6 months or 3 months or whatever. And so the company's basically doing like a little taste test with you to see if you're gonna work out. And so they're paying the recruiter company. Let's say you get $40 an hour, but the recruiter company gets another 10. So they're paying you $50 an hour. You're getting 40 of it. The recruiter's getting 10. And all they did was just place you. And so I went and I did that. I did like 3 interviews. And then I followed up like 15 times. And they were like, oh, sorry, the CEO that interviewed you is out on vacation. Be back next week. Okay. So I follow up next week. Oh, yeah, he's busy, all meetings. He can't really talk anyway. So the recruiting staff people sent a recruiting sales guy, right? That's what we are. He sent a sales guy there and with donuts to butter him up, right? Are you going to hire our people? Because he doesn't make money until we get hired. And so that was one of the first times when I went to a job interview and there were 7 people sitting in a room, right? And you're all sitting there who's going to get the job? I don't know. I wasn't I don't mind healthy competition and stuff, but make me sit next to the 7 people that I have to interview, compete with. Whatever. Anyways, so I went and I did the interview and they told me I was in the top 3 candidates and they only hired one of us immediately. It was just anyways, they never hired me. By the time they wanted to hire me, I had already had a new job, which was 3 months later. And so it just seems unless they can make money off of you, they don't give a shit. So actually, I ghosted some recruiters once. They took me out to lunch and they talked me into doing this kind of job. And obviously I didn't want to go to lunch, but I didn't have a job. So I was like, all right, job's a job. And then I had gotten a follow-up email the next day saying, hey, we want to hire you. and they were wanting me to like drive 55 minutes one way every day to go to like some PHP job that I didn't want to do. And yeah, I just ghosted them. They were like, "Are you going to the interview?" Like they like set up the interview and everything, and it was like an hour away, and I really didn't want to do it unless I had to. So I just stopped talking to them. And they harassed the shit out of me for like 3 days because they really want to make their money. They're like, "Oh, we got one." I don't know. They're kind of like sleazy salesmen to me. At least that's been my experience with them. It's like literally someone's trying to make money off of you. It makes me it feels wrong. Do I look? Yeah, I look into Glassdoor reviews. But what can you do if you need a job, you know? A new job requirement for me is flexibility of time. I will give less money because I want more time or ability to structure my day how I want. If you want me to be there from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, take a hike. Not happening. If you want me to do it and you want to pay me $125,000 a year, still take a hike. I don't care. I have a lot of money, but I have no time to spend it. Life is way too short for me to give you that kind of time of mine. What it doesn't like if you can do the math, right? So you value 1 hour of my life at like $65. Just think about that, like out loud. That sounds terrible. No. I'll take less money for more time. Company has to be below 50 people. 50 people or below. Maybe 75 or below. So no huge corporations, no strict schedules. I don't really care about money. I just want to pay my bills. Go see a movie. Maybe go grab a bite to eat. Don't care. Project, I mean, I'll do whatever you want me to learn. I'll learn whatever you want. I'll learn that tech. I'll work on whatever you want me to work on. I'm indifferent about that. For me as a person, it's hard to be passionate about other people's dreams. You're either working on building your own dreams or you're building someone else's. So I don't know. That's how I am. So that's why I like the flexibility. So they give me time, less money, or that's fine, whatever. But I can take the time that I have and I can work on the things that I like to work on and do the things I like to do, like this, and make videos and interview people. That's the stuff I like to do. And I get to help people. I don't get to directly help people by sitting in a cubicle coding. Does that answer it? Do you want like a minimum salary that I take? Benefits? Yeah, you get excited with the stuff that you make because you made it. And it's just like, what really irks me, it doesn't irk a lot of people, but what kind of gets to me is that the people at the top of the company, the guy who made it, right? He gets $50 for every $10 you get, or for every $1 you get. Why should I have to be that guy when I could just do my own thing? Like, I'd rather be responsible for myself than depend on other people saying, yeah, good job. What are we in fucking kindergarten? No. I tell myself good job when I'm satisfied with the work that I've done. I don't need you looking over my shoulder. Which is why remote's a big deal for me, and flexibility and autonomy. That means you trust me. That means you respect me. So then we can talk. Then we can work. Minimum salary, probably like 65. Benefits, I don't actually have health insurance, so that was fun. I have vision, but I don't have health insurance, and I have 10 days vacation a year, but right now I haven't been there a year, so I only have like 5. I don't really care about benefits or vacation. I try to design a life so that I don't have to take a vacation from it. I mean, healthcare would be all right, but I don't go to the doctor that much. How much 65K after taxes? That's very relative. Side projects? Like code projects? No, not really. I get to code all day at work. I'm not super pumped up about coming home to do that some more. Let me hit you with my list. Let me hit you with my list of side projects that I got going on. Yeah, about $4,500 a month. All right, these are my side projects: YouTube, art chain development, and like video production for them. Yeah, YouTube, art chain. Oh, obviously, I teach like 28 hours a week. So I get to code at work, and I get to help students code. Like I teach them directly. They have their projects, and I walk them through React and SQL and all that stuff. It's not my job to like take them from 0 to hero, but I do because I like to do it. So that I got those 3: YouTube, video production, my teaching thing. Obviously, I have like some side Shopify's. I got the YouTube or the Udemy curriculum that I'm making. I don't know. Also with my boss, got some ideas going with her. Got some ideas going with some people at work. I don't know. Always got something. Got to have those multiple streams of income. Because if you don't have one, it's not such a big deal anymore. Do I jump on the Discord chat? Yeah, sometimes. Usually on like Saturdays. If I have a clear morning, I'll hop on the Discord chat and then play some games or whatever. Do I do my teaching? Yeah, no. So the company that I work for, I don't like. I'm not like a shameless plug, but you're asking, right? So the company that I work for is called Open Classrooms, and it's a kind of go at your own pace. Most of the paths that they call them are, it's like $300 a month. You get a mentor. You get the equivalent of a bachelor's degree in the EU at the end. So there's a lot of European students there because Europe is so strict on getting a degree. They basically won't even look at you if you don't have a degree in Europe because education is so cheap there. They figure, hey, why not? Why don't you have a degree? Like, what are you doing? Anyway, so it's estimated to be about 12 months. I teach there. I've taken students from very beginning to the very end, and I guess I don't know. I have a bunch of like successful students that I've taken from they don't know how to do anything at all to having like 2-3 job offers at the end. So we meet once a week for about an hour and go over any questions with their project. And we usually do it on like a Google Hangout. Some people, I don't know if you've looked at the Discord, but Homie on Discord, I actually, he's my student. I teach him a lot. I think there's a couple people. I don't usually tell the students that I work with that I do YouTube or anything like that. I don't want to be that guy. That's weird. But yeah, I mean, I teach like, let me look. I teach a lot of different stuff. Mm-hmm. I do the front end path. I do the full stack path. I do the Ruby path. I And then there's UX and product manager, which I validate projects for other students that do it. All right, I'm not like a dedicated UX designer, but I know what a good design is and what it needs and how you do user testing and guerrilla testing and user stories. I know how to do all that stuff. It's just not my job. But being in the industry has taught me how to do it, and so I know what to look for with someone that's never been in it that wants to do it. Yeah, so I teach a lot of code when I'm not at work. So I don't really have any like code side projects that I do. Sometimes. Not really, though. That's a long-winded answer. I always try to do something. If I come home from a day at work and I'm not doing something productive, it's not a good day. What I try to define is like if you picture an ideal day in your head and then you match that up with what you're living on a day-to-day basis, like, is that success? That's how I kind of define success. And the more days I have that are moving away from what I picture in my head as an ideal day, then I need to rethink about what I'm doing. Like, is this worth it? Am I just doing this for long enough to save up money so that eventually I can come back and buy that time to have an ideal day? Because what happens if I'm over here putting in the hustle for stuff I don't really give a shit about and I get hit by a car or I have a heart attack? Like, life is, you can't predict it like that. You can hope that you'll have enough time to keep doing stuff that you hate to save up enough money to do what you want. So I try to meet in the middle somewhere. I have a tolerance for amount of shit I'm willing to put up with. That's not what I want to do. That's not ideal. But if I start having too many of those days, I need to like recalculate what I'm doing. So like right now, I really like making videos and editing and talking about code and helping people. And the more I get to do that, the more it seems like an ideal day to me. I'd like to do a little bit more traveling. Maybe host like a conference. So like I try to like visualize what I'd like to be, where I'd like to go. And I think it'd be cool to host like a little conference of like just, with a microphone. I don't think I'm like a great public speaker yet, but it'd be cool just to like have a bunch of people that are struggling. Just be like, look, let me tell you about how dumb I was when I started this. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Right. So obviously you have to give and take a little bit, but you got to keep that mental note. Like, is it worth it? How long are you going to put up with it before you decide no? In high school, I wanted to be a professional WoW arena team player. Those are my aspirations. Played a Blood Elf mage. So, no, I didn't see myself here. Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing with my life when I was in high school. I just knew that I just wanted to. I remember one day I was in like engineering school, and like we were doing the orientation for one of the colleges. One of the colleges that I went to was like, dude, if I could have my dreams, if someone busted in that door behind me right now, and they were like, Josh, you want to be an F-35 pilot, but you have to give up everything that you have, say goodbye to your dog's family and girlfriend, I'd be like, all right, let's do it. But that's not going to happen. So, and honestly, every pilot job is going to be droned eventually anyways. Just safer that way. It's cheaper. So Mongoose with MongoDB. Yeah, I think documentation is very subjective. I have not used Mongoose with MongoDB though. I've only used MongoDB like once or twice. A lot of my friends joined the military after high school. My cousins did. I didn't do it. I had a problem with people telling me, like, giving me orders, being in my face. I was just like a high school kid. So I didn't do it. Obviously now you could like put your nose to my nose and tell me whatever, and I would just be like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing with I thought about doing like OCS because the only branch of the military is the Marines that will give you a guaranteed pilot slot. They won't tell you what it is. You could be flying cargo and, C-130s, but they're the only ones that will guarantee you a pilot slot if you do it. But then you're still like, you're putting, I don't know, like 8 years up or 4 years at least. So what happens is you get to the end and they tell you that you're gonna fly in this little like dinky chopper everywhere. Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, I thought about the Air Force, but they don't actually have any way to guarantee you a pilot slot at all. They're only like, you can try. So you try, you sign up, you're enlisted, you got your 5-year agreement or whatever. And then they're like, "Oh, sorry, we don't have any places for you right now, but you can go push pencils and this, admin job. Next 5 years of my life. What? No, thanks." Yeah, I think I would rather have a choice in what I do. Not to say that like anything against people in the service, just didn't fit with me at the time. Now I'm too old. I mean, I'm not too old to enlist, but I'm too old. I'd have to like go to boot camp with people that are like 17 years old. I don't know how I would handle that. All these high school kids thinking that they're the shit, and you're just like, you have no idea who you're gonna be in 10 years, dude. Calm down. Sorry, Irene, I can't help you with the Mongoose and MongoDB turns into Mongood. I think I saw that, but let me give you a good answer here. What are some things you can do to look appealing to build up your resume? Obviously, side projects, anything that you've worked on for yourself or a Udemy course. Those are pretty big highlights. So have a website with that, then have a GitHub and a LinkedIn. Those are like bare minimum. Send me your resume. I will put it in the video. I will review it. I will remove your personal information and tell you what I think you could do better. According to a rough list of qualifications that I have for resumes. So, do I care about open source? I mean, I guess it's good. I don't know. It's okay, I guess. Got to make money to live, so unless it's like something. Yeah, you can send your resume. So send your resume to this email, and I will make a video of it tomorrow, or finish making the video. So these are the things that I'm judging the resume on. First impressions, what it looks like, because that sucks, but that's how it is. Action verbs. Are you using action verbs? Or are you using first person? Can't have first person. Don't say I or me in any of your bullet points of the description of what you did. Too much bold, too much italics. That's bad. Summary. I saw some summaries that were like novels. That's not good. It should be like 2 sentences max. Get creative. Read the dictionary. No novels. Are your skills front and center? Where's your education? Got any certifications? Got any side projects? Do you have a link to your portfolio, a link to your LinkedIn, and a link to your GitHub? That's what I'm looking for when I look at a resume. I hired a couple people at the job that I'm at now. I should have given a technical test, but I didn't do it because we didn't have any time. Yeah, send your resumes to the link. We'll review it. Hope I didn't like piss too many people off with this stream. It's pretty intense. I just try to keep it real though. Do I have a sample resume? My resume, maybe? I don't know. I don't get how some YouTubers are just like happy, smiley, like laugh all the time. And I don't even consider myself a YouTuber. That's a weird term. I'm just some guy. Trying to give back what I know. But yeah, I don't know. I try to keep it real. Stay positive, stay motivated, disciplined, but keep it real. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really have like a sample resume. I mean, I could show you guys mine. I don't know how to share my screen on this though. Yeah, I don't know. Is there an option? I would go get my laptop and just hold my laptop here and show you. Oh, maybe I can show you on this. Don't put a picture of yourself. Remove a picture of yourself. That's really European. We don't do it here in the US. Take the picture out. It sucks, but people judge you. If they want to see a picture, they can go to your LinkedIn, and that happens rarely at stage 1. They want to see your skills front and center. Remove any at all pictures. I saw one picture on a resume. Take that off. Do not have a picture. People are so judgmental. Oh, this guy looks like a serial killer. No way. Next. Maybe it was a bad picture. Maybe bad lighting. Maybe he is a serial killer. Take it off. They had to do that in Europe. They had like, we're taking resume pictures. No. No one cares what you look like. They just care if you can do the job, if you have the skills on your resume to do it. Colors and design are good. They want to see the resume. My resume? Oh, that's true. You could do that. I think I have Google Drive on here. Does this not come with Google Drive? I don't know. I don't use Apple products. Yeah, I don't have it. Only thing I use this for is to fly my drone around. And play PUBG on mobile is pretty fun. Got the Phantom 4. Yep, and then I got the old camera here with the Gorilla Pod. And then this thing is called a dead cat. That's actually what it's called. And yeah. So turn the mic on back here. And then turn the camera on. It goes black for a minute. I don't know if you guys can see. This is dumb, but can't see. Yeah. That's how I set everything up. Usually I just put this, instead of taking this off and like unscrewing it, I just wrap these little feet around the tripod that I have over there. And then I have a whole bunch of camera gear. Got this. Got the GoPro. This is an old GoPro. It overheats in like 20 minutes. Yep. Filming and editing takes a lot longer than one would think. Because you have to like redo a lot of stuff. Did we make it to 2,800 subscribers yet? I'm curious. Refresh. 7 subscribers to go. Feels bad, man. That's okay though. I should follow up with the people that had confirmed on their calendar to do activities with me. I'm looking at you, Christian. I sent you an email and you confirmed it. And we were going to do a video, but then you ghosted me. I got to hit up Aaron and Beta too. Three followers. Are these people you on Instagram? Who's this? New phone. I write code. Estelle. And then Mad Shoe. It's getting late, my dudes. I have to wake up. Dylan Israel. Let's look. This is the first time I've seen his channel. $827 views on the live stream. How to get fast and high job offers. Yeah, I've never seen this channel before. He does some streams, supplementary streams. It's good. Unit testing. Yeah, his is a TLDR. Didn't read. That's kind of neat. He does book reviews too. I should hit him up. I'm all about the people that read books. How not to be a developer. He does a lot of technical stuff, it looks like. Okay. My least favorite moment of Code Bootcamp was when they would give the toy problems when you first showed up. And then you see everyone around you getting started like right away, and you're just like, I got nothing. That sucked. I remember those moments the most because I would always compare myself to other people. That was a problem. So either I would have some idea and I would get it, or I'd have some idea and get it wrong, or I'd have no idea and sit there wondering, why am I so stupid and all these other people are so smart? Give an example of a toy problem, like FizzBuzz is pretty classic. Write a statement that produces fizz for if the number is divisible by 5, and buzz if it's divisible by 3, and if it's divisible by both, write FizzBuzz. So there's 3 sections to that. You have to know how to write an if-else statement. You have to know the modulus symbol, and you have to know the gotcha that makes it so that you have to check both conditions first, or if you put that one last, that last check, if you try to check both last, it will never hit that. And so that's just a gotcha of JavaScript, and that's a toy problem. Why can't I review a book that has Joshua in the title? I don't know. Give me a book. Coding Phase. He's the guy that like works remote and makes daily videos. I don't know. I haven't emailed these people. But every time I do, I reach out. They probably look at my channel. They see the cheesy banner that I have. They see, oh, only 2,700. What can I gain from that? Probably nothing. Then they're just moving. Then they just continue on. So basically for some of those people to have to like reach out to me to be able to want to work with me, they'd have to be generally like courteous to take the time out of the day, because I'm not going to benefit them financially immediately. So it's hard to convince them. Like, what value do I bring to them for them to showcase me on their channel? Yeah, that's kind of you have to convince them. Are you worth their time? What are they going to get? Okay. Yeah, being a cool dude helps, but it doesn't stop them from just ignoring your email or request. A lot of people will take it, you can't find out until you ask. So I should ask them and see what they say. But I've been ignored by most people. I met, Mayuko or whatever. I messaged her directly on Slack once, and I left a comment on her channel, and she starred it, but she would never actually engage with me, right? But she has like 120,000 subscribers. So just me being on her channel, would explode mine. And I'm sure she charges money now because she's hot stuff. So they would have to be just doing me a favor. But I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. I think I have a lot to offer. Any weird coding dreams, nightmares? I had a dream that I was being chased by ones and zeros once. That was weird. And like the zero would get close to me, and I would like jump through the middle of it. I'd jump through the hole. I don't know. That was a weird one. I think that was when I was learning binary, though. Yeah, the binary monster. The coding train. 500,000 subscribers. Well, it's quite the channel trailer. Coding challenge, Purple Rain. To be honest, I am not that good at coding challenges. I'm still not that good at them. I need to study. I need to get better at algorithms. Yeah. They're my weak point for sure. Good night, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. It's okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to look. Well, I guess. Oh, hey, thanks. Appreciate that. Right. People that show up to hear me rant at night. It's kind of how I perceive this. So it means I'm doing something right. I remember I had 3 people once. I was super excited about that. And I had 12 people or 11. Now I'm even more excited about that. It's pretty sweet. So thank you guys. You guys got the content. You guys got the questions. I try to come up with the answers. It helps me be a better developer, person of giving content or whatever. I'm open to suggestions. I try to, those people that get famous and it just kind of goes through their head and they think you're better than everyone else. And I don't have time for you anymore. Like, I don't want to be that person. That's not how I see myself. Like, you got a message for me? Like, I'll try and respond. Like, live stream Stack Overflow answers? Maybe. I'd have to figure out the answer first. That'd be fun. Inspiring. Thanks. I just have like a difficult time doing like really tech videos. It's just, they're only fun for a few people. That's the thing. Yeah, Photoshop is either they're going to give you a mock-up and you're going to have to break it apart, or some sort of sketch file that you're going to have to break apart, or an Illustrator file that you're going to have to break apart and examine dimensions of stuff. So you need to know Photoshop for sure. You need to know basically the Adobe suite. Like, I end up doing more than just coding. Like, I make loading animations, like loading GIFs, whatever. I make those. I make little videos for the companies, like tutorials, like documentation area. I manage like the front end of the WordPress and designing the background images. I do a bunch of stuff. Like the UX person. Yeah, graphic design. Yeah, for sure. The UX designer comes up with the idea, but they give you the materials and you're the one that has to implement it. They're just the idea person. And it depends on the company. Obviously, some people are doing different things, but yeah, definitely you need to know that Adobe suite and Sketch. I don't know Sketch because I don't have a Mac. I've messed with Illustrator a little bit though. All right. It's 10:42 and I have to get up in like 3 hours. Do I shut down any UI UX ideas or things that are unreal? Yeah, I've done that a couple times. I did that with Jenny. She designed a couple things that just wouldn't work, like, because she's not behind the scenes. Like, there's some data that was being loaded that she didn't account for when she was making the design. I'm like, well, if you do this, it looks like this, and if you do this, it looks like this. But you only have a design for one thing. It's not going to work. You got to do it again. I've done that. I mean, a few times. I'm not like shutting it down, like doing like flip tables, you know. Like, I've never done that. I've just been like, hey, this is not going to work. But yes, I'm going to go to bed. Got lots of work to do tomorrow. I'm so tired. And I got the resume video. Last call. I said last call already. So this is the secondary last call. That's a thing. Give me all your resumes so I can creep on you. So I can do the Disney Pixar and crash a plane, something through the wall. I don't know. What a weirdo. Send me your resumes. We'll do it up. And I will see you guys. Resume part 2. What does that mean? In 6 months when you have a resume? Why don't you have a resume? You don't need to wait 6 months to make a resume. Yeah, so I'm sure there will be like multiple. Yeah, but a resume is never done. Oh, you're talking about not done with the coding bootcamp? Yeah, you don't need to, dude. I started applying to jobs in the middle of code bootcamp. Like, I didn't care. But depending on how this video goes will be, maybe if more people want me to do their resume, then send me theirs, and we'll do more resume and cover letter and portfolio site reviews. That'd be fun. All right, I'm going to sleep. Everyone says go to sleep. Goodbye.